Okay, so I promised you guys an extra video today, and it looks like I'm going to go one better than that. I'm going to split this one into two parts. It's a video I've wanted to make for a while, but I didn't have the right words, and I'm still not convinced that I do. But I think it's important to do it now, because if not, I don't know if I ever will. If I do, it'll be a while. Something very personal. It deals with stuff that I have problems with, and that kind of impair me on a day-to-day basis. I don't know if this is going to help anybody in YouTube or in the world. I hope it does, um, at least um, to let people know that there's other people going through this. But it's going to help me. It's going to help me get it off my chest. So there are three ailments. There's three mental ailments. There's a lot of ailments. But there's three big mental handicaps or hurdles or disorders that I suffer from that kind of impair me on a day-to-day basis and impair my ability to set and achieve goals. I've been diagnosed with two of them. Or at least I was 7 years ago, and since I still have the same symptoms, I'm going to say I've been diagnosed with two of them. And those are the two I'm going to talk about in the first part. Um, so, to begin with, the two that I've been diagnosed with are generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety disorder. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about them and how they impair me on a day-to-day basis. The first one, generalized anxiety disorder. For those of you who are not familiar with it, the best way I can describe it is kind of a constant low-level panic or terror or worry. If you've ever been really nervous about a test or a job interview that you didn't think you were going to do well on, it's the same sort of tight-chested, butterflies in the stomach, nausea, sweating, just kind of low-grade terror or panic. And that's pretty much what I spend every waking minute with. It's kind of simmering at or about that level. It's not always about anything specific. In fact, most of the time it's not. If there is something in particular that's bothering me or that would bother, say, a normal person, it will bother me more. I'll spend more time worrying about it. I'll stay up late at night stressed out about it. I will worry about things that don't necessarily have any direct impact on my life, say um, nuclear war or some sort of zombie holocaust or a meteor striking the Earth, things that are really kind of out of my control um, and are varying degrees of unlikely. I'll get on those for a while. But usually, even if not, I will always have some sort of um, constant, non-specific dread. Um, and that's a big impairment. The other one is social anxiety disorder, or SAD, which is just the most unfortunate acronym I've ever heard. Um, Basically, it's um, an encompassing terror or panic whenever I'm put in kind of intimate social environments or interactions. So, if I were, say, talking to 1,000 or 10,000 people, it wouldn't necessarily come into play. But if you put me in a room with one or two people, especially if I don't know them well or they're in kind of positions of authority over me, I will generally be terrified out of my mind. I will either be kind of stuck still or fidgeting and moving and playing with my hair and scratching and itching, always looking down, um, not really making eye contact. Um, I won't initiate conversations. If people ask about me and ask questions about me, I do a pretty good job of answering those, but I won't initiate conversations. So, especially new people and actually friends, if I've not been around them or been in contact with them on a pretty regular basis, it basically acts the same way as though they are a stranger. Maybe not so intense, but it's still there. I'm usually terrified that they hate me or think I'm stupid, or kind of variations on those themes. So I'm usually kind of out of my mind. So those two together pretty much make me not exactly a nervous wreck, because I can still function. It's not like panic attacks. If you know someone who's had panic attacks, or if you have them, it's not that intense. It's not that unmanageable. It doesn't kind of reduce me into a crying ball. I can still function. I can still do my job. I can still work. I can still kind of act like a normal person. But at best, it's much more difficult for me because I'm usually um, so out of focus. I'm very fuzzy mentally most of the time because so much of my, if we've got any computer geeks here like me, so much of my kind of processing time inside my mind is taken up with worry. I don't have a lot of resources left for things I actually need to function with. And since so much of my day-to-day activities and my job involve talking to people, either on the phone or in person, it's very, very hard for me. It's not impossible, but generally I'm varying degrees of terrified. And it's actually, my job is actually helping me. It's not helping me get over it or anything like that, but it's helping me learn how to push through the fear. It's still there, but I'm kind of learning how to function with it. It is maybe not exactly the most healthy thing in the world, but it is helping. So basically, what this does is either it will cause me to stay up late at night and be tired that way. I'll be worried or upset about something. I'll toss and turn, and I won't get a whole lot of sleep done, and I'll be even more out of focus and off my game the next day. Or what'll happen is I'll be so exhausted, either from staying up or from just worried and so drained, I will come home and either slump in front of the computer, or I will go to bed at like 7:30 at night until 5:30 the next morning. I actually went through a phase where I did that. Combined with the next thing, I did that more often than I didn't. Um, so definitely I'm either up real late at night, or I'm asleep at like grandma hours. So a couple of the ways that I deal with this, there's not really any tricks I have for the social anxiety disorder. I'm really bad at managing that. If I have to meet new people or go out with people that I don't talk a lot to, I generally won't. I'll stay home. I stay in this room. If I'm not at work, I'm usually here, and literally here, in this chair, at this computer, in this room. So there's that. That's definitely a handicap. But the generalized anxiety disorder, I'm much better at managing. It's still there. But a couple of the tricks I have is if I give myself something to focus on. If I stare very intently at a block of text or an activity, that definitely helps me not concentrate so much on the anxiety, and that helps me manage it. The other thing is actually physical movement. I do a lot of fidgeting and moving. I will actually bob my leg up and down. I'll try to do it so that it's easy to see on camera. But basically, I will do this all day long. I'll switch legs, and I usually do it much faster, which is not good on my knees at all. But I will do that most of the day, where I'll fidget, or I will twirl a pen, or click it. If it's a click top, I drive myself nuts with this, so God knows what the people around me deal with. So those are my two big things. Exercise, actually physical exercise, helps a whole lot, because I can focus on that. It's physical movement. So if I exercise more, I do actually feel better. I'm not so worked up. So those are my two big ways of dealing with that. And those are varying degrees of successful. Some days they're better, some days they're not. So those are the two big things. That takes up a lot of my energy. I'm usually drained because of that. There's more that cause me to be drained and kind of lazy and apathetic most of the time. I will talk about that in the next video. So I hope that maybe helped somebody or got them to understand what I'm going through. The next part I'll explain the other ailment and kind of how everything ties together. So bye for now.